for coming. You might be wondering why I'm carrying this tape measure with me. It's like there's a lot of people in this town who are very scared of me. I know I'm a really threatening person, so they're really scared of me. So I just want to make sure they're safe. So I just need to be able to measure 100 feet at any moment's notice in case any of them get scared. I did notice that one of them seems to have parked his car over here, intentionally going to the exact place that I would be at, even though he's really scared and he's really intimidated, and he definitely doesn't like it when people say bad things about his pizza or his chicken parm. He gets really sad about that. So we want to make sure his feelings matter a lot. He's the most protected person in the United States of America. He's the only person in the free country that you cannot protest. There are currently now 10 people now who are facing felony charges simply for the act of doing the most American thing you could possibly do, and that is protest as free citizens living in a free country, and we can't let that stand. So what is happening in Canton right now and in the last few months is one of the greatest injustices I've seen in American history. And I'm not being hyperbolic about that. What is happening here should be national news. Just to review everything that's happened.
Right.
Someone was murdered in this town, a Boston police officer at that. An innocent woman had her civil liberties taken from her after she was framed for murder by the very same people who we trust to arrest bad guys and put them in jail. The system that was designed to do that betrayed not only her, but all of us and the trust that we put into it by putting her in jail, charging her with a murder that they know damn well that she did nothing to do with, in order to protect the scumbags who are sitting in that house across the street right now, hiding, and peering out windows. I can see the curtain open there. Oh, is that Chris? I hope he's okay, guys. I hope he's safe. I hope he's feeling safe in there, because he feels really unsafe. John O'Keefe probably felt unsafe that night when he was cornered inside his house by Chris Albert's family members, who proceeded to beat the shit out of him. And instead of calling 911 when he started convulsing, they plotted to throw him out in the lawn to finish him off, figure out how long to die in cold, and then frame an innocent woman after the fact. And we should all have a problem with that, and we do have a problem with that. I didn't even know this was going on until April of 2023. So much for, if the defense was paying me, they should have started a lot earlier. I mean, we could have done this a long time ago, but I guess they started paying me, they want to say, in April of 2023, when I read the undeniable, irrefutable evidence that Jennifer McCabe Googled how long to die in cold at 2:27 in the morning. That did happen. It's a fact. It's not up for debate. She did do that. And because we all have the audacity to have a problem with that, I started writing about this. And obviously you all became very interested in it because it's that outrageous. It's the biggest story I've ever written. And no story has elicited this type of activism and outrage because of just what an injustice it is. And I thought from day one that they were just going to drop this. I said, they can't go forward with this. But when I saw them put their foot to the pedal, I realized this is actually a lot worse than I initially thought when I wrote part one of the story. This is actually a million times worse, because they're just going to keep going now. They don't care how many people know that they did this. They just don't care. And their immediate response to that, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, well, now they're only doing this because I'm writing these words on the internet and I'm going on my show and saying these things, but it's not happening in front of them. Well, that changed in June when I started showing up to court, or in May, when I started showing up to court and asking questions of people who had the audacity to go to court with their Justice for JJ Walmart buttons on and pretend like they give a shit about John O'Keefe's family, when in fact they participated in murdering him. And I couldn't believe that no other media is going to ask these people questions. Well, I will. So I did show up, and I started asking them relevant questions about why they Googled how long to die in cold and why they didn't come outside the house when Karen Reed got there and was hysterically screaming outside. And they had nothing to say, and then they stopped showing up. And they want to go on living life like it's completely normal, like they didn't kill a person. Well, I have rights too. And I can go to public sporting events even if it is a high school lacrosse game, and I can walk to the top of the bleachers, and I can ask you these questions for 5 minutes, and then leave voluntarily, which I did. And then I can hold a peaceful protest in your town, and I can go from door to door, standing outside for 7 minutes, explaining what the homeowners did to cover up a murder. You can do that in a free country, but they don't think you can. They think that because they have all the guns and they make all the rules and they have the badges and they have the gavels, that they can do whatever they want and they can trump up these bogus charges, and that's all this is. These charges are just a way to protect those scumbags across the street diagonally from us. They're trying to make those scumbags feel more comfortable so that they know that they can murder with impunity, that they can kill with impunity. And I was here on July 22nd, 2023. It was one of the most peaceful, nicest days ever. Families were out, you name it. People of all ages, shapes, sizes, whatever. Everyone was here. And we didn't see a single Canton police officer the entire day. Yet now they want to have us believe that this was some sort of gang witness intimidation tactic that apparently the police in this town, they knew about well in advance, that they put cameras up, but they couldn't put any cops out there to stop this act, even though they thought that it was allegedly illegal. It's garbage. It's bogus. They know it's bogus. The whole purpose of this is just to take my devices, find out who I'm talking to, find out who's giving them information, find out who the good cops are who are ratting on the bad cops so that they can make their life miserable, etc. And when I got arrested, right, a lot of people figured, well, it's just because he's, because he's Turtle Boy, because he's got this platform and thousands of listeners and all this stuff, and he's got influence, but it's just about him. Well, that was proven wrong on November 5th of 2023, when 9 regular, random effing citizens went down on a public sidewalk on the busiest street in town, this street, as a matter of fact, Washington Street, in the middle of town, and stood there with signs, really controversial signs that said stuff like justice, which is apparently now a crime in the town of Canton to peacefully protest on a public sidewalk because you are within eyesight of an elected official, a very, very sensitive elected official who is sad and scared, okay? He's really sad, I know, he's really sad. He's got a tough life, guys. Chris Albert has a really tough life. He grew up in this town from a well-connected family. His brother's working inside as a cop. He's got another brother who's a Boston police officer. He's got another brother who had a swimming pool. It's not there anymore. But I guess that's his life accomplishment. Yeah, he doesn't have to pay any taxes. He can make mediocre chicken parm, and the welfare pizza shop will keep getting subsidized by all the McAlberts who feel bad for him because no one wants to buy his mediocre chicken parm. And he's got a really tough life, and when you read Chris Albert's arrest report from when he killed a man in 1994 named Peter Berger, he killed him and left him to die, and most likely sobered up and saved himself from more years in prison. When you read how entitled Chris was when he was being questioned by the Massachusetts State Police in 1994, and they didn't ask him, were you drinking? Which would be the first thing that crossed my mind, right? You realize that, this is generational. Like, this is just, he raised his son to be the same way. An entitled punk, right, who the law does not apply to because the police have his back. And they're not going to be treated like you all, right? Look at the way that the Canton 9 have been treated, and I have been treated, and compare that to the treatment of Colin Albert, who was inside 34 Fairview Road when he was inside 34 Fairview Road when John O'Keefe was brutally murdered. Whether or not he's the one who delivered the fatal blow doesn't matter. He was inside. And he was never once questioned. He's been protected by his close friend who's known him since the day he was born, Michael Proctor, who he was in a wedding party with in 2012. And these people, these are criminals. And we have the audacity to call them out and call them exactly what they are and exercise our voices and they're trying to lock us up because they're trying to shut us up. Well, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. We're not going to shut up. I'm facing 9 felonies in Canton. I don't care. I'm just going to keep going. They don't scare me in the least bit because I know a year from now, I'm not going to be the one with charges on my name. But a lot of them are. And so I hope they know that across the street right now. I hope they know that enjoy this Christmas because it might be your last one as a complete McAlbert family. Unless they do, I don't know if they do Christmas in federal prison. We'll find out. You might have to Google that one. But again, I just want to say thank you to everyone who comes out. Getting arrested does kind of suck. It wasn't fun. That wasn't what I was planning on doing on that Wednesday. But just the hearing all the honking outside of court the whole time because I'm like, I didn't have a chance to tell anyone. And I get down there and I see it's the McAlbert Mafia in the courtroom. And I'm like, okay, so they got the heads up and our people didn't. But then the whole time I'm standing there in shackles and I hear honking the entire 45-minute arraignment as Ken Miller was reading out my greatest hits. And, I was like, when's the bad part coming? When does the crying happen? I'm like, this is just... This sounds like something we put on a remix here. Like, this is good stuff. This was funny. But again, I couldn't do it without the support of you all and the moral support that you give me. It keeps me energized. And just seeing all you people giving up your Sundays right now to be here, I really, really appreciate that. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I can't thank you enough. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Did you say Tim? I didn't know if they said something else.
No.
Guys, have your mics on?
All set? All right, good evening, everybody.
Sit down, Randy.
We're going to resume the select board meeting on December 19th. We had a 6:30 executive session. Now we're into the regular public section. So it is now 7 p.m. So any announcements, Mr. Conley?
No, thank goodness, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
I
first
do,
thing on the,
Mr. Chairman.
what was that?
May I? I have an announcement, yes.
Absolutely.
We had a big storm yesterday that really upended the town a bit. And I just want to congratulate all our departments, police, fire, DPW, the recreation department. All departments came in and took care of a lot of trees down, a lot of water problems. Our rink was on the verge of not being open for 10 days because we lost electricity, and the staff and facilities and their staff were able to secure a generator to get that up and running. So we're going to be down a day instead of 10 days. So I just want to, and the water we've had across town was amazing, but I want to congratulate everybody for the efforts they put in to keep us up and running and get the roads clear as soon as possible. So thank you, everybody, for that excellent work on that day. Appreciate it.
Do you just want to? Good job. 6 telephone poles got knocked down yesterday in Canton. 6. It says notice 138 was closed from right in front of the Turnpike Street all the way up to intersection of 93 now. It's not called 128, but it's closed for the rush hour. So they did a heck of a job.
Thank you.
And Eversource did as well. So they were bombarded. Yeah, it was. Well, that's one way to get rid of them, right? So it was more than 6.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. McCourt.
First thing on our agenda is a joint meeting with the planning board for appointment of interim planning board member.
So I guess the procedure would be for you folks to open your meeting.
We're open.
The what is that?
We're open. We're open.
Already, well, yeah, we've
Perfect.
already opened this up.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the joint session of the Canton Planning Board for just Tuesday, December 19th, 2023 in Memorial Hall in the Sala Meeting Room. A meeting with the Select Board to nominate and appoint a new planning board member to serve until the April 2024 town election. If I could speak briefly.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
You probably already heard this once last time I was here, but I'm going to reiterate it again. The planning board placed an advertisement in the Canton Citizen paper for 2 weeks in October, requesting those interested to apply for the open seat left vacant by Mr. Amrine for the position to be held until April 2024's election. We had 4 qualified individuals apply: Bob McDonald, Tom Scully, Christine Smith, and Richard Volkin. We as a board took a vote on November 22nd to nominate an individual. I felt that the party that should be nominated to the board would be if someone who had been in the position would be better suited. We took 2 votes and Mr. Bob McDonald was unanimous. We at the planning board appreciate those who reached out to help the town to have the board be whole and their dedication to the town of Canton. We are asking the select board to take a vote this evening with the planning board to appoint the interim member to the board who would serve again until April 2024. We are nominating Bob McDonald as the candidate.
Second motion been made and seconded. Any discussion or?
Nope.
Other comments? Okay.
Mr. McDonald, he's been a member for years before. He hit the ground running and 4 members is tough at times, so get Bob on right away. And I know I talked to him and he's willing and able and ready to go.
Right.
So that's great news for the town.
Any other
All
comments?
planning board members in favor? Aye.
And select board members?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0 here.
Yep.
7-0. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Patty.
Mike and Chris.
I move that we close the hearing for the vote. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Yeah, I actually did another thing. Yeah, okay, motion. But you, yeah, stick around. Yeah, just let you know that Mr. Albert and Mr. Lochran are both sick, so they will not be attending this evening. So Mr. McCourt will be our clerk this evening. So
Thank you, sir.
moving on.
Mr. Theodore, the next item is a public hearing for request modification to development agreement between Canton Holdings, Thorndike Development, and the town of Canton relative to the location of the dog park in the proposed townhomes on Lot 10.
So,
So
Read into the
need a
public-
motion to open the public hearing.
yeah, and
I
then
make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Do you want to read the public notice into
Um,
the, I have it here, JR, if you want to just,
yeah, what's-
if you want to just read this into the record.
Oh, okay. I got that. For the record, the legal notice, public hearing, the Canton Select Board will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 19th, 2023 in the Sala Meeting Room, Memorial Hall, 801 Washington Street, on or after 7 PM. The purpose of this hearing is a requested modification of development agreement between Canton Holdings, Thorndike Development, and the town of Canton relative to the location of the dog park and proposed townhomes on Lot 10.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the meeting is, pass that down. So the meeting is open. We have Mr. Plant. Would you like to?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bernie Plant with Canton Holdings, prime redeveloper of the former Plymouth Rubber site, Revere and Neponset Street in Canton. I'm here with Carolyn Malway, who is the head of the Friends of Canton Dog Park. And Carolyn will speak after this presentation about operation of the dog park, if you would. A little over a year ago, Canton Holdings and the town entered into what is known as the Seventh Amendment to the Development Agreement. Back in May of 2015 at town meeting, a redevelopment plan was approved to redevelop the former Plymouth Rubber site. That was memorialized in the development agreement. Since May of 2015, the development agreement has been amended 7 times. The last time you amended it was December of last year. That Seventh Amendment, pardon me, before I get to that, the purpose of tonight's meeting is the Eighth Amendment, and I hope to be the final amendment. It considers 3 matters: construction of 2 dog parks, the development of 12 townhouse units on Lot 10 off of Neponset Street, and finally, moving the obligation of Canton Holdings and Copperworks Development to notify the town on an annual basis that the age restriction and the moderate income unit obligations under the development agreement are met. We've reached the point in the development that operation of the condominium is being taken over by the homeowners, and they've elected trustees, and those trustees will now report to the town that they're in compliance with the age restriction, and secondly, they're in compliance with the moderate income piece. Everything is in compliance right now, but there's an obligation to make that annual report to the town. So we're asking that Canton Holdings and Copperworks be relieved of that obligation and that it be assumed by the trustees, because they're operating. We don't have that information anymore. So it's a fairly simple matter. The apartment project that is located opposite the assisted living facility has to have 15 of the 60 units rented to people of moderate income means. So they would report to you that they're complying, or the management company, in this case Corcoran Mullins, would report that they're compliant. And then the trustees of each of the condominiums that have been built will report to you that 20% of the units are 10% of the units continue to be occupied by people of moderate income means. That's a little bit simpler because those units have been conveyed, and there are deed restrictions that limit their ability of those owners to convey it to people other than moderate income means. So we're asking for those 3 matters under the Eighth Amendment. But jumping back to the Seventh Amendment, there was an obligation that we construct a 33,000 square foot dog park on Lot 8, which is a lot along Revere Street. We found out after the fact that unlike the balance of the site, the development part of the site, the main part of the site, the conservation rules and regulations applying to Lot 8 were a little more stringent, and we couldn't get as close to the wetlands and waterways as the other part of the site. In short, the other part of the site had buildings very close to the wetlands. We were able to tear those buildings down and construct new buildings in their location. Because Building 8 had no buildings located on them, although it was used as a dump for Plymouth Rubber, we were subject to a different set of regulations. That's a long way of saying we can no longer build a dog park on Lot 8 as required under the Seventh Amendment. So there was some discussion in town about other locations, and we considered several locations around the town. We finally concluded that the best location we would split the dog parks into a large dog park and a small dog park in an area opposite the Paul Revere Heritage Park along the diversion channel off of Neponset Street, and I'll show you the details of that plan. The Seventh Amendment also required that we, amongst other things, construct a terrace attached to the Revere barn, which has been complete, construct a 60-space parking lot adjacent to the MBTA station for the Revere Heritage Site and the town's use, which is underway. Build a small parking lot on the former Eversource substation site opposite the fire station. I got a call last week from Eversource that they've run into additional PCBs which they're attempting to deal with, and they're going to be in touch with the town about the conveyance of that lot. So once the town has possession of the lot, we can build the parking on that small piece of land. We would add some steel plate to the Jenkins bridge for safety purposes, convey a 2-bedroom unit out of building 5 to the town, which is complete as of several weeks ago, and pay to the town $314,800 from the Ponce Street traffic improvements. So we're on course to satisfy the obligations of the Seventh Amendment with one exception. We cannot locate the dog parks on Lot 8 because of conservation and Mass DEP wetlands regulations. Therefore, we'd like to move into these 2 alternative locations. What I think I'll do is I'll just jump to the plan real quick. If I could. Is this all right right here?
Want to bring it over here, Bernie?
Sure.
The folks in the audience can see it.
Right here, okay? Sorry, John.
Okay with me?
There's an empty seat right there. Put it this way. Yeah.
Oh, you could put it right this one.
You all have 11 by 17 versions of this plan. So this is an aerial view from the south side of Neponset Street, looking at Neponset Street, at Plymouth Street right here, the George Jenkins Bridge.
Mr. Chair, you hold the microphone?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm sorry.
Just grab the handheld, maybe. Thanks.
So once again, this is an aerial view of the proposed location of 2 dog parks. This is Neponset Street, Plymouth Street here, the diversion channel, the Paul Revere Heritage Park, Revolution Way right here. The large dog park is located on land that we own, formerly known as Lot 10. The plan is to fence that area completely, remove a large 4,400 square feet of knotwood that has infected this area of the park, save all of the larger trees that are not dying or diseased, fence the entire area. We're adding 10 additional trees so the dog owners will have shade. We'll be adding park benches, vinyl chain link fence around the perimeter. It'll be irrigated and water will be available for the dogs through like a dog fountain. They'll be serviced off this little roadway that comes off of Neponset Street. The 12 townhouses are 4 3-unit buildings. We have about 150 feet of frontage on Neponset Street. There's a short access drive. Met with the neighbors on a couple occasions. One of the conditions is that they wanted the former Plymouth rubber fence, which is kind of an antique fence with barbed wire removed and replaced with a more attractive looking fence, which we agreed to. We're adding a fairly substantial buffer along the rear of the homes that front on Neponset Street and Plymouth Street. Access to the park will be in 2 locations right here. As you may all be aware, there's a sidewalk that runs right along Neponset Street here. So the access will be right off of the, in this location right here off of Neponset Street, and also right here. So that's a long green strip, unbuildable land that is controlled From a development standpoint, by the Army Corps of Engineers, they have strict restrictions about what can be done within proximity of the top of the bank to the diversion channel. So we're constructing a long 750-foot asphalt sidewalk that will reach this point in the dog park and enter the dog park. There'll be kind of a vestibule entrance. And then once you're in the park, the dogs can be controlled by the fence. There's also a smaller dog park that's being located on, this would be the west side of Revolution Way. Carolyn can explain the difference between large and small dog parks. Dogs that can enter these parks, I guess, based on their weights. But similar to a large dog park, this will be enclosed with fence, trees will be added, benches will be added. And both parks are about 15 feet off the top of the bank. So there's no chance of the dogs exiting the park and getting into the diversion channel. I think that pretty well summarizes the, from a parking standpoint, the Ponce Street is 60 feet wide in this location. We'll have to do a little bit of restriping, and we're going to add 24 parallel parking spaces along the Ponce Street. Additional parking will be available off Revolution Way in this area, and of course the parking lot that serves the park and the restaurant. So there should be plenty of parking, speedy access once you park to get into the dog parks and get out. The neighbors are protected in this area by the additional buffer that we're maintaining, and the invasive species that exist in this area will be removed. It's actually quite an attractive location, particularly this time of year when you've got a lot of water running down the diversion channel. So it'd be nice to sit on this side of the diversion channel, protected by this fence, and see that crescent-shaped dam and the water running along the diversion channel. I think that summarizes everything. Chairman.
Questions from Mr. Plant? Did you had something to say? Also, you had something to add to it?
Yeah. So, thank you.
Just introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Carolyn Mulway. I am spearheading the Friends of the Canton Dog Park. We have about 50 subscribers to our email updates, a little over 340 people on Friends of the Canton Dog Park Facebook group. And with the notification of the most recent update of this location, we have received close to about 150 positive responses to this information. How we're going to manage this is going to be a little bit more tight-knit than some other dog parks in the area. We intend on having key fob entries to the parks. This is something that a dog owner will have to submit their information, proof of vaccinations, their address, and they will pay an annual fee. And then they will have access to the park. So with that, I think it'll be very helpful and safe for dog owners and the people who live adjacent to this property. We intend on having the park open from 7 a.m. in the morning to sundown. No lighting overnight, no nothing pertaining to that. We will be fundraising as soon as we receive approval on this. And we're very much looking forward to having this as part of our community.
And you did say you people are in charge of the maintenance, you said?
We are. So it will be grass. That's what we're planning on having. I believe there was discussion of an irrigation system being put into the large dog park, which will be very helpful. I believe currently the town is maintaining the grass at this point. I believe it's outsourced. So if we need to work with a landscaping company in order to continue that, then that's fine by me. We've been in contact with them.
So the town will have no responsibility in either park, correct? It'll be run by you folks?
We intend on maintaining it ourselves.
Okay.
I'm not sure about water.
The plan is that if approved, Carolyn and her group would form an entity, enter into an agreement with the town that will reduce to writing all the obligations of each party. To my knowledge, the only responsibility the town will have is for the irrigation of the large dog park and for the dog fountain.
To do the irrigation, put it in, or to, if it's broken,
No,
we'll fix it?
no, we will put it in.
You will.
For the usage, for the water usage. That's it.
So the town won't be, it would be the private entity that will be responsible for the water bill? Or you folks? I'm asking a question because water gets expensive and it's a concern. I'd rather bring it up now than bring it up later.
Right. I think that's a matter between the dog park group and the town of Canton. We're installing the irrigation system. We're installing the dog fountain, the meter to control all that, backflow, all that type of stuff. But once it's complete, then the dog park association would take over.
And they pay the water bill. That's the intention?
That's something that we haven't discussed entirely. We intend on maintaining the irrigation, having it shut down in the winter. Any repairs that would be necessary would not fall on the town. How we want to have the water set up, I'm assuming if it's, however it's done for the remainder of Revere Heritage Site is different from how it is.
It would be different because the Revere
Public
Heritage, the Revere Heritage Site irrigation system draws off the Neponset River private system.
Can that be done
No.
on the other side of the diversion channel?
Oh, no.
No.
Okay.
It can be done, but it would be highly expensive and requires a lot of maintenance.
Okay.
For the amount of water that's going to be used, I think it's a fairly minor matter.
I never say never.
Yeah.
We've seen water bills that one leak all it takes is to be several $1,000s worth of water.
Right.
I want to put it on the record now that we have to work it out because, I don't want to say, well, you're responsible. No, you're responsible. I want to make sure everything's up front.
Right.
There's nothing hidden.
Mr. McCoy.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, two things on a similar thing is currently now the Recreation Department and Parks and Rec take care of the park maintenance, which would be the landscape and mulch and repairs of the heads. I think we're doing the head repairs now of any, of the irrigation. The concern would be on the upkeep of the dog parks, the mowing alone would be going to find out who's actually going to take care of that. If it goes on the town side, that increases the annual budget of the recreation to be able to do that, as well as maintain those heads. And it gets costly. Every year, we see the water goes up, well, with not so much with the irrigation on one side, but water's constantly going up and landscaping constantly goes up and the maintenance of those heads goes up. So that's going to be just kind of cleaned up of who's going to actually take care of those parks as to the maintenance of them. The other one, there's two parks. The large dog park is predominantly behind the new proposed development.
Right.
And that looks pretty buffered, cleaned up. The other one, the small one, goes behind existing condominiums, and it looks like, has anybody in touch with those condominium owners as to that particular dog park being directly behind those private owners? Because with dogs comes noise, and I just would like to make sure, and does this have to go through zoning too? So this will again be brought up at zoning, is that the those abutters to those parks, predominantly those condos, will probably have some serious concerns as to the noise level, what's happening in that small park. The bigger park doesn't seem to be really affecting maybe one house at a distance, but that's something I'd be really looking into as to talking to those
We've had
homeowners.
2 neighborhood meetings.
Yeah.
And we had the assessor generate a butter list based on ZBA requirements, and notifications went out, and we met twice. I can't tell you that residents adjacent, I know the lady that lives closest to that dog park has dogs and is interested in the park. I can't tell you that if other people over there attended.
I was just, it's just me going to that zoning thing again. You know what I mean? I just wanted to make sure it's out there and the maintenance of those parks out there, because those are, maintenance alone, it's increasing costs. No matter what you do, how it goes, it's going to cost more and more every year. There's a lot of dog lovers in this town. There's a lot of people that want these parks, so we might get some serious supported donations on that end. But so those are just things that I'd like to see clarified.
And to echo, because I don't want to go through what we went through with the bathrooms.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah, so everybody knows, but if it goes through zoning, all the abutters would be notified anyway. So, okay. Thank you.
I don't know if Carolyn mentioned, but there'll be a fee, a reasonable fee, right? Use of the park.
Use of the park, yeah.
Yeah, so ideally that would generate enough cash to take care of the matters that you're talking about.
The fee will be a certain amount for residents of Canton, and it will be higher for those who live outside of Canton.
So it's open to non-residents as well.
It will be open to non-residents to keep things fair. I think that it makes a lot of sense to allow other people to come in and use this
Sure.
park, but I do think that it should be at a little bit more of a higher cost for them.
In the cleanup, does that get daily done? Would that be a daily thing for the
That is
the
something
park to get
that,
cleaned up?
that is something that every owner is going to be responsible for. They have to clean up after their dog. And if they don't, then there will be discussions. And if it's a repeat offense, they will lose access to the park.
It'll be outfitted with those stations to
Yeah.
deposit.
I think there were
Waste.
five
Yes.
stations.
That's good. That's good news. And if no one has a badge or whatever you say to key yourself in, then they won't be allowed in. Like if
Correct.
Mary has a friend or Jimmy has a friend, they can't bring their dog
No.
under one key, correct? Or someone will be watching. And I love dogs. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to anticipate any problems.
Yeah, no, completely understandable. It may happen that someone will take their friend's key fob or something such as that, but you have to do the honor system. And if something does happen within that park with that person's dog, animal control will be notified, information will be shared, it will be found.
No, that's fine. That's good.
So,
And you were going to explain what's a little dog and what's a big dog.
well, so there is an area for smaller dogs or dogs who do not get along with larger dogs and vice versa. The smaller park can also be accessible to geriatric dogs who do not want to spend time with these I have a fast moving young dog, and I'm sure there are other dogs that just want nothing to do with him. So that area is set aside for that purpose.
Okay, good.
And vice versa. So if there is a smaller dog who does happen to do well with larger dogs, by all means, it's not,
That's in stone.
yeah, it's not mandatory, but it is recommended.
And the owners know what the dog likes and doesn't like. I know my dog, I know what she likes and what she doesn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Some days she likes me and some days she doesn't. All depends if I have dog biscuits, right? Thank you. That answered my questions. Thank you.
So, yeah, and as far as the maintenance goes, I know that it's being taken care of right now. If it does fall on Friends of the Canton Dog Park to have the grass cut, we can certainly do that. We can rally up a group effort to pick up some leaves in the fall. However it needs to be done, it's something that we will take care of.
So what are we looking for tonight, Mr. Plant?
You may be aware, Mr. Chairman, that any amendments to the development agreement requires a 4/5 vote of the board,
We gotta wait till next meeting anyhow.
which is not possible.
Right, right. So,
Any direction that you may have, we would
No,
welcome.
This has been very good.
Thank you.
The neighbors are encouraged to, supporting the 12 units, correct?
Yes, I've had two neighborhood meetings and we've made some adjustments to generally satisfy them, yes.
so at this point, we're going to be taking it under advisement, but did you have anybody, please?
It looks lovely.
Name and address.
And this is the first that I'm
Yeah.
actually hearing details, which I'm sure, Rita Lombardi, sorry, Rita Lombardi,
Thank
8
you.
Kings Road, if you don't know already. So it looks great. In terms of the water, it sounds like we're charging people for a fee to use the park, and then we're charging the town for water and maintenance. Is that correct?
We are not charging the town for maintenance.
We're not charging the town for maintenance. So we're
No.
charging a fee to use the park, but not the town for maintenance for the landscaping, for the grass mowing and all
No,
that.
Currently, it is being maintained by the town.
So the town's paying for it.
The town is, well, they're paying to keep it clean now, but no one's using it. The town will not be paying for cutting the grass once it is constructed.
Excuse me,
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
so-
Excuse me,
Yeah,
Rita.
sure.
That was one of my concerns, so that we don't want the cost of the park to be placed on the burden on Parks and Recs in the town. And I believe that the petitioner has addressed that as that they want to do it all within their fee structure and whatever they're doing, but it's not finalized, and that's our concern, that we want to make sure that the town doesn't get an ongoing bill. And I know the Recreation Department is already full hands with what they're doing now, so any added acreage would be an issue. And that's one of the concerns I have as a board member. I think that we'd have to iron that out before anything is really ratified. And this has to go through zoning also,
Okay.
which would deal mostly with the abutters and other issues with that. So yeah, I'm definitely concerned about ongoing costs with the dog park. yes.
Okay, and I just have a couple of questions. So the lawn would be beautiful, but anybody who has a dog knows that the lawn kind of gets destroyed when they urinate, you know? So have we looked at sustainability options like mulch or something like that? And also for the water, you know, a lot of things are looking for sustainability options. Do we have a way to cut down on the necessary water for the dogs by incorporating some sustainability features in the parks?
As to the grass, the landscape architects at VHB are researching it right now, and they'll suggest a seed that's palatable to the use. This area is going to be wooded and treed, so there'll be shade there, which the dog park, I'm told the dog park people would like. So that will be helpful for the irrigation. The diversion channel water is non-potable, so we have to use domestic water, town water. And we can certainly use low flow heads on the irrigation to cut that down. I don't know if we can control the amount of water the dogs drink, but we can try.
Right.
eh?
Well, I mean, maybe there's ways to collect rainwater. I mean, I'm not an expert in this field, but I know a lot of companies are looking for sustainable options.
Sure.
And so if we can, for lack of a better word, recycle the water, you know, we can reduce the water costs and the burden to the town,
Sure.
you know? And one more question, if I don't mind. So other towns have dog parks, but they don't charge. So are we going to look like, I mean, I don't know of any town that charges for a dog park. So is that going to make us look different?
Dedham Dog Park does.
My daughter went to Dedham Dog Park. It does not.
Oh, let's not get, I'm not going to argue.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
I've
not
been
argue
there. It
with
does not charge.
that. So,
It's just something to think about because I don't know what it's going to make. You know, if other towns have free dog parks and we charge, are we going to look kind of snooty? I mean, I don't know.
well, like I say, those are the things that we can iron out in
Yeah.
the future. Exactly. So,
And Mr. Chair, on that note also would be to get some sort of cost as to what the annual cost would be
Yeah.
to run the actual park.
Again,
I wouldn't have a clue myself, so,
again, these are the
it's
things
something that
happen.
would have to come down
These are
the
the things that will
line,
be
and,
ironed out. So,
it's something to be reviewed, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
My name's Pat Cohen, and I live on One Revolution Way, and I'm in full support of a dog park. We absolutely positively need a dog park. At the moment, the dogs, many of them, run free at the heritage site. I've been over there myself walking and get practically knocked down. Many owners have the dogs on a leash, but there's a group that gathers on a regular basis and uses the upper part of the field to let the dogs run loose routinely. And there have been dogs injured and there have been people injured. So I think the idea of a dog park dedicated so that pet owners can have their dogs outside and play, because dogs love to play. I would wonder how many members you'd allow if it does turn out to be a fob operation. Because, it could easily get very, very crowded. There are so many dog owners in Canton.
So, Mr. Chair, so it's a capacity issue possibility.
I just wondered.
Yeah, that's a good question. Capacity of the park. Well, it's a big park. I'm just curious, what would be the capacity?
It's about 20,000 square feet on one and 10 on the other, 18 other on the other.
20 something and 10, yeah, and 11.
It would vary for each one. I would say that initially there will be a lot of dogs there, and we will have to regulate that. I'm thinking probably no more than probably 20 dogs on the larger one and 15 on the smaller.
Well,
one dog
it's a
per-
given that we need a dog park. So I'm in support of the dog park.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Commissioner McDermott, 225 Sherman Street. My only concern, well, I have a few concerns, but primarily making sure that there's proper signage. I know that's been an issue even at the Sharon Dog Park, making sure the rules are followed as to not just cleanup actions, how people are treated if there's an issue, and animal control has to be contacted. But another thing is liability. And one of the things you may want to deal with, I know other nonprofit organizations have had to deal with insurance purposes. You may have to deal with that as well for both sites. That can be pretty expensive. So I thought I'd throw that out there. Thank you.
So at this point, we're going to be taking it under advisement. Like I say, we have time. We start ironing all these questions, all these concerns, and get back. We'll work on them.
Perfect.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next on the agenda,
Mr. Chair, make a motion, we close the public hearing.
um, okay, yeah. Motion been made
Second.
and seconded. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is closed. Next.
Give me a minute, sir. Mr. Chairman, we have capital request review, police, fire, ambulance, recreation, veterans, and Revere and Son Heritage Trust. Are we going to go in that order?
I would go the order it's printed, yes.
So that would be the police.
How is everyone tonight? Busy time of year. Before I begin, I just want to echo J.R. McCourt's words. Shout out to the DPW, annual shout out for making the police station look so great for the holiday season. And also to the DPW, the fire department, and all the men and women in the police department for yesterday. It was a tough day. It was a long day. It was a wet day, a nasty storm, and they did a great job. So shout out there. On to capital FY25. The police department has 10 items. I'm going to speak to 9 of them, and Chief Robbery is going to speak to one that we're in a joint endeavor. So the first thing on our item is body armor,
requesting $25,872. It's our first agenda because it's one of the most important pieces of equipment we utilize. We're requesting 14 new full-set armor-resistant vests, 9 for current officers and 5 for new officers we anticipate onboarding. The shelf life of vests is 5 years, so every 5 years on a rotating basis, officers get new vests. And there is a grant application coming out in March. If we're successful, this might be able to augment some of the costs, so we'll let you know further on that. Second item is police cruisers. We're looking for 4. We look for 4 annually. We find that it fits well with the rotation. We like to keep the cruisers at 80,000 miles and trade them in for the safety of the officers. We were looking for 3 traditional and 1 hybrid, but we got word that the hybrids are really not being made. They're having a lot of recall issues with them, so it might be 4 traditional SUV units. We'll let you know as we move towards that purchase. Third one is Motorola audio-video recording equipment, which is $352,886. This is for 11 police cruiser dash cam replacements and the initiation of the project we started in 2022, the purchase of 50 body cameras. The pricing does include storage for 5 years. However, I just do want to caution again, it's like a phone. Every 5 years, we're probably going to need to replace the equipment, and then it'll be storage costs again. So this cost is for 5 years, basically. Good news, we do have them. We got 5 of them in today to start a pilot program with the officers. They're going to wear them for 30 days starting in early January. The manufacturer is coming in for an initiation program January 2nd, I believe it is. And we've chosen 5 officers that the traffic officers, people that interact with a lot of citizens and people every day. So we have them for 30 days and we'll see how we like them. Last week, myself, right down through the sergeants, all went to a training course for all the different aspects of body cameras. So that was very helpful. And obviously, we'll see where this goes. Fourth item is audio video recording equipment inside the building for $39,168,000. We haven't had new audio video recording equipment inside the station in the interview, interrogation, and booking areas for 20 years since the station was built. And again, it's kind of like your phone. You need to update and change so that we don't run into issues when we really need it. So we're looking to replace that. Fifth item is an exterior security fence for $140,000. We're looking to get a fence around the entire rear perimeter of the police station for security purposes. Officers' personal vehicles are parked back there, as are all of our police vehicles, which have a lot of equipment in them, some weapons in them, and that equipment cannot and should not be accessible to the public. We have a lot of people who walk in the rear woods and wander through the lot, and quite frankly, it's just something we can't allow anymore. The sixth item is kind of a fun item, Apex Office Training Simulator for $70,000. It's like a virtual reality, and the software allows us to like rebuild Canton on a computer, and we can, it's 24/7 training that, the midnight guys could come in and access. You can run them through, put in and say, I want the officers to respond to a robbery, or I want the officers to respond to a mental health crisis, and it's keeping the skills sharp with de-escalation or just good decision making. Should I pull my weapon at that time? Should I not have pulled my weapon? So that would be a really helpful piece of equipment during these modern days of policing. Item number 7 is defibrillators for $34,323. Looking to get 9 new units for our vehicles. Obviously, I don't think I have to really expound upon this. Defibrillators are lifesavers, and it would be great to have them in all of our vehicles and in our building. If a young kid passes out at a baseball field, to make sure every unit we have, not just the mark units, there's oftentimes I'm out on the road, to have defibrillators in all of these cars would be huge. The 8th item is kind of a passion for me. It's wellness for the offices. It's a renovated control room and kitchenette for our offices at $100,000. Currently, the Canton Police Department does not have anywhere for police officers. We don't have a stove. So like yesterday, for example, in that storm, if that had been snow and all the restaurants, fast food was closed, the officers wouldn't have been able to make themselves healthy food or have some place to come in and kind of just like breathe after that storm. So I think it goes to wellness, overall with the officers, but wellness, it's a long-term thing for them to be able to prepare their own healthy foods within the police station, and that is a passion. And training costs of an RMS system. We already got the money for the record management software. And I've talked to the finance director. We're kind of trying to work this out. Not sure if this falls into operational or capital, because we got the okay for all the equipment, but within that should have probably been the training money to train all the officers for all the new equipment. Our record management system is like at end life, so we had to get a new record management system. So I'm working with Randy as to whether or not we should be putting it here or operational, but if it's supposed to be here, I wanted to make sure I mentioned it tonight. And if not, we'll put it in the operational budget. But that's basically it. Those are our focus items for this year, and just want to thank you for your attention.
Did you want to, what was the one with Chief Robbery? What are you?
That's going to be, so our radio, and he'll speak to that. It's our radio system throughout the town needs a severe upgrade, and he's going to speak to that. It's like an overhaul, basically, of our radio system.
Okay. Thank you, Helena.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Call up Chief Robbery while yeah.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for the invite. So I'd like to thank the police and DPW. They did a great job yesterday also. We called in a lot of trees down, flooding, and they came right through. And the guys down the fire department did a great job. So first up on my capital budget is a radio infrastructure replacement. So this radio infrastructure is 20 plus years old. They stopped manufacturing in 2012 and Motorola stopped supporting the system 2020. So we can't get parts right now. And our backup Indian Lane repeater is down. So we're running on Washington Street right now. So that definitely needs to be replaced. It's costly. We put in for new portables, new mobile radios. We did a whole revamp. The whole cost, this is a joint effort now between police and fire. It will cover both departments. The cost is $1,619,665. But it definitely, it needs attention. Next up is, so normally I would be going for one engine this year, one engine next year. But I was trying to get two engines. If we can get two engines, I can foresee saving the town about $170,000. And the reason is they'll give us $20,000 off if we get two engines. So we have an engine 6, that's a 2003, it's 20 years old. Engine 2, it's a 2006, 17 years old. It's going to take 3 years to get these engines. So if we order them in spring of 2004 after town meeting, we're not going to see them till 27, sorry. That price, each engine is $1,090,000. Now the price is $990,000, but I added in a little extra. We have some tools that need to be replaced. E1 uses a Cummins engine. There could be a model change in that. They sent me a memo, and if they change the model of the engine, we're going to have to absorb the price cost. And this quote is only a 30-day quote, so this price might go up. I'm expecting it to go up a little bit.
So close to get the town meeting.
Yes, absolutely.
Reaffirm a number,
Exactly, yeah.
so long as the finance director understands that.
Yeah, so anyways, that's my reason for ordering the two. I mean, normally I would just go one and one this year, one next year, but
Where's engine 2? I know engine 6 is,
engine 6 is
our
up at Station
911.
1.
That's the one that's dedicated to
Yeah, to the,
fallen firefighters.
exactly, yeah. Engine 2 is at Station 2.
That's
It's
Station
our
2.
backup down there,
Okay.
right? And, you know, the frontline engine goes out, we use the backup. If the backup goes out, we don't want to start.
3 and 4, the ones that go out mostly right now, right?
3 and 4 are frontline,
Frontline, yeah.
and they go out for repairs, maintenance, stuff like that. So the backups will fill in. If they go down, we don't want to stop borrowing from Norwood or Randolph.
And that's what, you know,
We have.
we've
you know
done
what I
in the
mean?
past, and they're borrowed from us. So that's what
Right.
mutual aid is all about.
Absolutely, yeah.
Same thing with the ambulances. We don't want to,
Exactly,
but we're
yeah.
there if we have to. That's what they're
Yeah,
for.
actually, yeah, we were just borrowing, who, I was just borrowing somebody's, Randolph, I think I was borrowing. So actually, my next item is, a replacement for ambulance 2. It's a 2019. Usually we replace them 5 years. And that's gonna be a 2-year wait also. So it'll be 7 years, old when we replace this one, so. And currently, I got an ambulance last year, we're waiting on that, so that's not gonna be here till, that's not gonna be here till the spring of, let's see, not this year, 25. That'll be here 25.
Remove this woman, she's being very disruptive.
Wait, no, let's continue right now.
She needs to not direct any comments to it, please.
Okay, or now it's, okay, please. Okay, I will, at this point, I will stop it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Chief.
so next up, I'm looking for a washer and dryer at Station 1 and Station 2. It's a stackable. This is 16,000. It basically, it's about 8,000 for each, 4,000 for each unit and 4,000 for the plumbing to put in. And so this is basically for the guys when they come back from a fire. The smoke that gets on them is carcinogenic, and it needs to be put in the wash right away. Right now, they're bagging it. They bring it home to their houses and wash it there, which is no good.
Oh, they want that.
A lot of times, ambulance runs, they get body fluids on them.
They want that.
They shouldn't be bringing them home. So I'd really like to see that.
I have a question for you, Chief.
Yeah.
Does International make an ambulance anymore, or is it all Fords? Because we used to be all internationals, right? Then Ford got into the business?
Yeah.
I don't see any internationals
Yeah.
around anymore, correct?
Yeah, we've been going with Fords, and basically the chassis are all on a state bid list, so they're all the same price.
I'm sorry, I don't see the ambulance on this list.
Down the bottom.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
I didn't go all the way down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see it there,
Right.
okay.
And my other
Yeah,
question,
it gets
follow
paid out of the ambulance fund,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So the ambulance fund
I was going to ask you.
gets paid out of the ambulance fund. It
There's money there.
generates its own money,
Okay,
exactly.
I just didn't, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and last, I was looking for $7,500. I'd like to do like a 3 to 5 year strategic study on where the department will be. You know, we're getting crowded down there. We just had an office trailer we put in the parking lot for our EMS director. And the administration side is getting crowded. We're getting busier. Eventually, we're going to have to put more men on, and room is getting tight. So, I mean, you know, this is not tomorrow, but, you know, down the road, I just don't want the town to have any surprises. So if we can, I'd like to get somebody from a professional that does this, and just go through and give us an idea of, yeah, we're going to need a
More
third
room.
station, or maybe add on to Station 1, something like that. Just
I know years
an
ago,
outside.
there was talk to put a trail out for the former chief, but not for you.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, Wendell.
But anyways, yeah, so that's my capital budget.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Who's next on the list?
Recreation, TJ.
Recreation.
Tyler. Where's Jimmy?
Flooded basement. I'm sure. All right, so I have four requests for this year that I'll run through quickly for you guys. The first one is for a 40 by 60 high peak tension party tent. As you can imagine, we have grown about over 250% through our programs. We have summer camp is our busiest time. Currently, right now, we have no indoor space other than just Pequot Side dining room in our building, which we operate a camp at already. So this tent, pretty much, I've been working with the schools, hasn't worked out so well for us. We have no indoor space to grow this camp. Each week we have about 60 to 70 kids on the wait list for these camps, our full day camp. So this tent is to help offset the indoor space to be able to double the size of our full day camp. So this is super important, especially that we got denied from the schools to be able to use a home location for this camp. The request is for that. Yeah, and the size of the tent may decrease a little bit as well. So 40 by 60 was kind of the original look, but it may depending on where we work with conservation to pick a spot. Depends on the size of the tent that we get. But
Mr. Chairman, will the tent stay up there, all season?
all summer.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
You take it down in the winter, great.
Yeah,
I mean,
right
fall,
after.
winter.
Yep, right after the
Okay.
season. And I spoke to Eddie Walsh about it as
Good.
well, just to make sure that we met the requirements that he needs. And he said he had a couple people in town that are licensed to be able to put these up. So.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. So the next capital request is a new Kubota 4-wheel drive compact tractor with an aerator. Currently, our tractor is over 20 years old. As you can imagine, it doesn't have the power that it used to. We can do very minimal jobs with it at the moment, other than just kind of moving, gravel and wood chips and things like that. This new compact tractor that we're asking for would be able to, with the aerator, would be able to do the fields quicker, more efficient, and allow for the fields to breathe more and get up to pace where it needs to be, especially with the amount of play that we do have on the fields now. So this tractor would also be used for snow removal at our facilities, as well as moving wood chips to the playgrounds that we have, moving gravel, things like that as well. So, but the main focus of this would be the aerator onto the tractor, which would be huge. Third one is the Gibson Field Drainage Project. This is to pretty much, the current pitch and grade of the Gibson Field is not, I would just say it's not right. When it rains, we hold water in left field, which causes the field to almost be unplayable. Gibson is our varsity baseball field, super important. We also have a lot of other amateur leagues that now play on that field as well. That field is heavily used. So this is to address those concerns, add new piping, install new pipes to existing catch basins, which will act as a main kind of collector. And then it would also install fertilizer, Kentucky bluegrass sod. So that would enhance the drainage to the surface. So it's super important, as you can imagine, so we don't have to shut down Gibson. It's needed. I think that field needs some love and attention, being our varsity field. So that's kind of the reason for that project.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, on the Gibson Field, is that 82,000, is that to bid it out, or is it done in-house?
So that's to bid it out. Yeah.
Bid it out, okay.
Yep. That would be a company to come in and
And
professionally.
you think that price is pretty good?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome. And the last one is for a sod cutter and tiller. As you can imagine, The infields and the baselines get damaged every year just with coaches not properly raking and things like that. So we constantly have to recut the fields, make sure that they're proper, done properly. So our sod cutter right now and tiller are 15 years old. They do not work like they're supposed to. We kind of have to make shift how we cut the infield lines and things like that for these ball fields. So this would, so the tiller is pretty much for breaking up the hard ground and transforming into soft, loose soil. And the tiller is best for areas with high clay content. So this would allow us to do these things more efficiently, create the proper baselines, and create a safer playing surface for the kids. So those are my 4 requests. Any questions?
Well, just a quick question. Gibson Field, that drainage project, that's on school property, correct?
That's the high school.
The high school.
But we've done the maintenance for years,
We oversee all the maintenance for all the high school. We do every ball field in town.
every field.
The other only one we don't do is the turf, the artificial, but we do all the high school fields.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
That was
Thank you.
taken over around 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while, I know that, so.
Yeah.
Great. Tyler, thank you.
They turned it over to the town.
Yeah, and I just want to, before I just want to give kudos to my staff for everything that happened yesterday with the water. Dennis Aldridge went above and beyond. I don't think he gets the recognition that he deserves, and he was there all night, all morning. Me and him, all night, all morning. We kind of grinded it out, and were able to get the rink back online.
Great.
I know he's very prideful in the rink, and that's his baby. So we only lost 2 days rather than our busiest time of the year. So I just want to shout out to my staff that just went above and beyond to make sure that the rink is back up and
Let them
up.
know we appreciate it
Yeah,
also. Thank you very much.
Good for you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well.
Did you know you were next?
Well, he's bigger than Victor and Steve, so he's next. Right?
You know, sometimes you gotta use your height towards your advantage. Sorry, Charlie. All right, good evening, guys. I apologize. I wasn't planning on coming to see you guys this year. But unfortunately, I do have an issue. I was gifted a Ford Explorer this year, used Ford Explorer, which has been fantastic. As you guys know, I've been using it to do operations as well as get around town. Unfortunately for me, that Explorer also started having issues a little over a month ago with the transmission. So it's been down in the DPW odd now for about a month due to the fact that the transmission went. They ordered a transmission, it came in, and unfortunately the transmission did not work. So right now they're in the process of trying to find another transmission, but they explained to me with that year and model, Ford unfortunately made a lot of bad transmissions. So right now trying to find another transmission for it is what they're looking for right now. So my capital investment budget request would be for a new vehicle that we could use for the Veterans Department. Hopefully something that I'm hoping will last about 15 years. Because the current one that we have has 140,000 miles and it was given to us by the fire department as a used vehicle. That's it.
Will it be Battleship Gray again?
I hope so.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. What's the year of the Ford Explorer you have now? What year?
It's a 2013.
2013.
It's a 2013 Ford Explorer with 139,000 miles, almost 140,000 miles on it. And I've had it since about right before Memorial. I got it right before Memorial Day.
Oh, he's in the parade. Right?
It was.
I know it was.
Absolutely.
Thank you, RFF.
Thank you.
And the other thing, while I'm here, I just want to mention, I'm sure you guys know that next week, Tuesday, we're going to be doing a parade for Duncan McLeod, who's going to be turning 100 years old. It's going to be meeting at the American Legion at 10 o'clock. Mr. McLeod currently resides at Cornerstone, so we're going to be doing a parade, a drive-by parade for Mr. McLeod, stopping there with him and presenting him with the citation that you all have signed, as well as a citation from from the senator as well, to say happy birthday. It's very rare that we can still have World War II veterans with us, and especially it's very rare that someone turns 100 years old. So I want to make sure that we honor him properly.
10 a.m. at the
Next week, Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
26th. We did it before, 2 years ago, we did it down by the high
Yes.
school.
Yep, we absolutely did, yes.
Yep, that's what it's all about. Yep,
Thank you, Arafat.
Thanks for
you.
doing that, Arafat. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
What do we have left?
We got Revere and Son Heritage Trust.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Victor Delvecchio and Steve Schonfeld from the Revere Heritage Trust. I'll be quick. I know you got a big agenda tonight. We only have 2 items. The total is $38,500. I'm happy to say it's less than last year's capital request, which were $45,000. The 2 items are a sound system to allow us to communicate on the 3 floors of the barn. We don't have it currently. And as we have more events, and we are having increasing number of events there, whether it's game night or fundraisers or the recent holiday fair, we had approximately 600 people on the 3 floors and on the 2nd floor of the mill. We realized we need to communicate with all 3 floors. It's a matter of convenience for the folks that are there. It's a matter of safety. When I was there for one event, I discovered that our staff had run a cord in the stairwells, and I thought this isn't going to work, especially if somebody trips over the cord. So we need a system. We've been working with Lewis. He's been great, by the way. You know, he always helps when we call out. And we estimate that it's going to be at least $20,000. What I propose is that to the extent that exceeds that, the trust will fundraise the difference. So we're asking for just the $20,000 on that item, and we will take care of the rest through fundraising and private donations. The second is a security system. We also realized, and it dawned on me when I found someone's hoodie on the 2nd floor of the pipe that connects to the fire suppression system, and I had no idea, none of us did, how the hoodie got there. We had to call Brian Lynch in to come take it down. We need some cameras in there. We need some door sensors, some motion detectors. We also need some cameras on the outside. I'd like to have a camera on the restroom area, and perhaps one on the other area, so the pavilion if it's granite. But we need something outdoors, and that's going to be less with the sensors and a monitoring system. That'll be about $18,000. So we have $38,500, and those are the 2 events. And we hope you'd agree with them for public safety and for, in the case of the security system, in addition to safety, it's also to help deter vandalism.
Oh.
And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
The monitoring system, this is here is just for the equipment and the installation of it?
The monitoring system is for breaking in or not. It's like a monitoring system in our home. So if the door is open when they shouldn't, the town and we will get notice of it. And the police will be notified.
So will they go through a company like an ADT
Yes,
type of thing?
it's a system that that Lewis recommended. So I think he said we had the town had some experience with it. So we picked the one that Lewis had identified.
Have to make sense.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I'm all set.
Thank you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, everybody. Thank
Put
you.
your Christmas sweater on, huh?
Yeah, whenever I come here, John, I know
No,
you
you
have
don't.
a tie on, so I have to bring a different sweater. Take care.
Thank you.
What do we have next?
Mr. Chairman, we have a vote to approve change of manager for Top Golf, 777 Dedham Street to John Conley. Just a note that Top Golf is changing its manager and has applied to change it on the liquor license, and all the paperwork is in order.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second,
Motion been made and seconded. Any other questions or comments?
just one question. Obviously it's not me. I got a lot of calls saying, is that why you brought them to town? I said, no, I have nothing to do with it. It is John Conley. They spells it the same way. And he was born and raised in Fitchburg and Leominster. I've got to know him because for my role here. And his father used to be the headmaster plumber at the old Cumberland Farms. So it's kind of ironic. And he brought him up from Virginia to run this Top Golf. And I'm going to tell you, he told me last week, I was talking to him, I check on with them just to make sure we're helping them and to be good people. There are almost 50,000 people through the doors since November 3rd, the largest they've had. So it's really a gold mine. They're doing great. It's crowded and it's doing very well for them and for us. The more better they do, the better we do. So
you think we can appoint him before he retires? So motion been made and seconded. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 3-0.
Mr. Chairman, Town Administrator report.
Just a couple of things, Mr. Chair. One item that came up on December 12th, the Blue Apple Bus Company had a
Yes.
ribbon cutting ceremony for the start of a daily bus service from the Park and Ride on 138.
Yes.
So they started a new service there, and it's going to go to Logan Airport. So it's the same, it's very similar to the Logan Express that you get out of Braintree, but you can now get it in Canton at the Park and Ride on 138. It's a new daily bus service. It started on December 13th and continues to operate. There was a ribbon cutting with Lieutenant Governor Driscoll was there, the State Senator Feeney, and Rep. Galvin. I think Chairman Theodore, you were there as well?
Mr. Conley.
And Mr. Conley. So it's convenient for folks. The only thing that you have to remember is there's no parking there like there is in Braintree.
Right.
So it's a drop-off service,
Yep.
but it's still very convenient. I think the fee is $18
Yes,
one way.
$18.
From Mansfield to Canton, and you can live park, and then you can jump on the bus if they're waiting, and then you can pick them up, and it's almost hourly.
Yeah,
So
I said it was
it's
hourly.
A lot easier for folks instead of driving to Braintree's easy, but
Yep.
it's right there.
Yep, it's a nice,
It'd be nice
nice
to have
benefit
both
for the
of
town.
those, yeah.
Yep. And then the other thing that you've all talked about the storm several times, so I'll skip that. And then the last thing is I've been updating you periodically on the status of the RFP for trash and recycling. So the RFP went out. We received 2 qualified bidders. We have the information in-house, and it's currently being evaluated by myself, Jennifer Chameleon from my office, the finance director, and the DPW director. So we'll get together, we'll evaluate those proposals. We'll select who we feel is the most qualified bidder and offers the biggest benefit to Canton, and then initiate negotiations with that company to finalize a contract. So we hope to have that done in the coming weeks. Certainly by mid-January, we'd like to have that task complete. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Dooley.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, next on the agenda is approval of the 50 Getchell Way billboard mitigation agreement. Just to note, after the review from the town council's office, it is recommended that the board approve the billboard mitigation agreement for 50 Getchell Way. So with that said, I move that the board approve the agreement pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A for Outfront Media LLC for an outdoor advertising sign located at 50 Getchell Way.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
Next, Mr. Chair, is a letter of support for Empower's lease agreement with .32 Health Occupy Daycare Facility on .32 Health property, and I would defer to Charlie on this one.
Yeah, sure. So this letter of support is for .32 Health to lease the daycare center that's on their property that was previously known as the Reebok Daycare Center. So there is a daycare center that operates out of the Robin Building at Canton High School. The Robin Building needs to be occupied by the Canton Public Schools. So the vendor that's there now needed to find a new location, and they were fortunate enough to find a location on the campus of .32 Health, the former Reebok Daycare Center. So as part of the pilot agreement that the town has with .32, anytime that they are going to lease part of their property for a fee, obviously they need to make sure that they don't violate the terms of the agreement. And in this case, they have submitted a certification stating that any proceeds from the lease will go to their charitable foundation of their endeavors. So the money that they get from the lease goes to the charitable wing of .32, which is important because it's in line with the pilot agreement. The other stipulation was that the building commissioner and the fire chief inspect the property to make sure that it was safe to occupy, so they could get an occupancy certificate. And the building commissioner has confirmed that the intended use is indeed allowed in that zoning district, and the inspections will be conducted before occupancy. So with that being said, I think they've satisfied the terms of the agreement and recommend that you issue a letter of support for that.
Mr. Chair, I move that the board support and powers lease agreement with Point 32 Health to occupy daycare facility on Point 32 Health property.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
Mr. Chairman, next is the annual license, liquor license, common victual license. So with that said,
So you have a list of,
yes, we have a list
Yep.
of all the licenses that need to be renewed. We discussed this earlier. There's only 3 of us here. Is there going to be an issue? We're going to postpone this.
yeah, that's, I think we need to postpone it to the next meeting.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we postpone this until the next meeting.
Do we need a motion for that, or can we just postpone it?
We can just postpone it.
We'll just postpone it, okay. Yeah.
The next agenda is vote to authorize the Surge Drug and Alcohol Testing Award to Advantage Drug Testing, 62 Elm Street, Andover, Mass, for a 3-year period from January 1st to 2024 to December 31st, 2026. We are part of the Southeast Regional Service Group, and every 3 years, the drug and alcohol testing goes out to bid. The last time this was signed was 2020. I move that the board authorize CERSG Drug Testing and Alcohol Testing Award to Advantage Drug Testing, 62 Elm Street, Andover, Mass, 01810 for the 3-year period from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3, is that? Yeah, you said 2. Yep.
Yep, yes.
3-0.
Sorry. The next on the agenda is vote to change the corporate name from JW Zhang Inc. to 538 Takara Inc., DBA Takara 538 Washington Street.
Motion been made.
I make a motion that we
For the change.
approve it.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the next is the common victual license for Riser Corporation, DBA Slices. I move that the board approve the common victual license for Riser Corporation, DBA Slices, Italian Pizzeria, 323 Turnpike Street.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
Next, we have a recommendation of Fire Chief and Human Resource Director. I move the board approve the PAF for firefighter James Kaminsky.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
The next is a request for Friends of the Library for Comedy Night fundraiser at the library. 2 shows, first show 7 p.m., second show at 9 p.m. I move the board approve application to obtain a special license to serve wine and malt beverages at a 1-day event at a Comedy Night fundraiser for the Friends of the Library at the Canton Public Library, 786 Washington Street, on February 24, 2024, from 6:30 p.m. to 11 p.m., contingent upon building commissioner, police chief, and fire chief approval.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Next, Mr. Chair, we have a AFSCME memorandum of agreement. I move that the board approve the AFME memorandum of agreement.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have the appointment for the Assistant Town Accountant Cody Pratt. I move that the board appoint Assistant Town Accountant Cody Pratt at recommendation from the Finance Director and Human Resource Director.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other questions? He's a good kid, so yeah.
Yep.
That's nice.
All in favor?
Thank you,
Aye.
man.
Aye.
Aye.
Next, at
3-0.
the recommendation of the Information Systems Manager and Human Resource Director, I move the board appoint Assistant MIS Manager David Kelly.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Next, at the recommendation of the Superintendent of Public Works and the Human Resource Director, I move that the board appoint Utilities Maintenance Technician Alan Chung.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 3-0.
Mr. Chair, at the recommendation of the Superintendent of Public Works and Human Resource Director, I move that the board appoint meter reader Mary Killigard.
That's pretty good.
Is it?
Killigard.
For you, JR. That's a, motion been made. Did you second?
Yes.
Motion been made and seconded. Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye. Mr. Chairman, at the recommendation of the Parks and Recreation Director and Human Resource Director, I move that the board appoint Park and Recreation Program Supervisor Alfred A.J. Gauthier.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Questions, comments?
Just a note on that, they really spent some serious time trying to fill this position, trying to get people to apply for this position on this. This is a new position that is formed because of the growth of the Recreation Department. So I commend the Recreation Department from finding this position.
Why was it so hard to fill it?
It's just hard to get the applicants to apply.
Yeah. Well, so a motion been made and seconded. Those going to comment, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 3-0.
Next is an application was received from a resident willing to serve on a couple of committees with vacancies. I move that the board appoint a member to the Commissions of Disabilities in the Canton Cultural Council, Alexandra Happany.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 3-0.
Mr. Chair, I move that the board accept and authorize the use of the gift in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law 44, Section 53A, to a donation of $12,500 from Outfront Media.
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? There's a bunch of them in here. Can we just do that once and then just go through the listing?
I do them each separately.
Okay,
We're doing separate.
okay.
Okay.
Yep, just wanted, so motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 3-0.
Mr. Chair, I move that the board accept and authorize the use of the gifts in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law 44, Section 53A, the donation of $50 from Brenda and Letta Mauricio to the Fire Department.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Mr. Chair, I move that the board accept and authorize the use of the gifts in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law 44, Section 53A, the following donations to the Department of Elder and Human Services. $300 in the memory of Bernard Stripanus from Mary Stripanus, and $100 from Ms. Sonania Shapiro.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Oh, you have made, oh, you did. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
Mr. Chair, I move the board accept and authorize the use of gifts in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law 44, Section 53A, the donation of $250 from the Canton Town Club for the Parks and Recreation Department Breakfast with Santa.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
Mr. Chair, I move that the board accept and authorize the use of gifts in accordance with the term thereof under Mass General Law 44, Section 53A, a donation of $111 to the Fire Department from the Friends at Hand and Foot in honor of Ann Duty.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Chair, the vendor warrant total for the week of 12/8/2023 is $1,618,915.84. The payroll warrant total for the week of 12/8/2023 is $378,782.61. The vendor warrant total for the week of 12/15/2023 is $1,370,077.48. And the payroll warrant total for the week of 12/15/2023 is $1,615,180. $1.84. Mr. Chair, I move that with this board approve the minutes of the select board meetings of December 5th, 2023.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey, Jay, can I ask you, going down the list here, we have a lot more donations here to go over.
that's at the end. You want me to go
You
through
want to
them
get one
now?
into them right now, get them out of the way?
Sure.
Get them out of the way, yeah.
Yeah, I have, that's good. Can I have a glass of water? That'd be
Yeah.
good. Mr. Chair, I move that the board accept and authorize the use of gift in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, 53A, the donation of $1,000 to the Conservative Land Fund for the maintenance of Peakwoodside Farm from Roger Winfield Scott Foundation.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Chairman, I move that the board accept and authorize the use of gift in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the donation of $25 to the fire department from Marjorie Weiner.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
Mr. Chair, I move that the board accept and authorize the use of gift in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the donation of $2,000 to the Department of Elder and Human Services from Paul and Linda Sloan.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Chair, I move the board and accept and authorize the use of gift in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the donation of $500 to the Department of Elder and Human Services from the Bernard T. Semensky Memorial Fund donated by Kathleen Semensky.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
Mr. Chair, I move the board and accept and authorize the use of a gift in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law 44, Section 53A, the donation of $5,000 to the Department of Elder and Human Services from an anonymous donor.
Second. Sorry.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Chair, I move the board accept and authorize the use of a gift in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the donation of $6,753 to the fire department from an anonymous donor.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Chair, I move that the board accept and authorize the use of gift in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the donation of $10,000 to the police department from an anonymous donor.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Thank you to all these people that do all these donations. It's just-
Very generous.
Very
It
generous.
really is just, it's nice to see.
Um,
Now we'll go
Mr.
back-
Chairman,
go
we
back.
have a announcements, a DPW announcement regarding Pine Street facility stickers. And I don't have anything on that.
Let's see.
Let
Let me just check here. Hang on one
Please see
second.
attached announcement for the 12/19 select board meeting regarding Pine Street Facility Transfer Station Yardways 2023-2024 winter hours.
I have it. Do you want me to read it?
Okay.
Want me to read it?
Yeah.
Sure. This is from DPW Pine Street Facility Transfer Station, 99 Pine Street. Winter hours of operation. The winter hours of operation are Wednesday through Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., starting Wednesday, December 20th to Saturday, April 6th, 2024. And then normal hours resume after that. Pine Street is closed on holidays. Hours of operation are subject to change and weather permitting. Next part of the announcement has to do with the Yard Waste 2024 sticker. The 2024 annual Pine Street Facility Transfer Station Yard Waste stickers are now available for household, residential, overflow trash, household, residential, overflow recycling, and residential yard waste. And folks can get that downstairs at the DPW on the ground level. No commercial vehicles are allowed, and these stickers are not for commercial use. Pine Street stickers are $20 each per vehicle. Resident must provide proof of Canton residency and current registration with license plate information for a Pine Street sticker. The sticker must be affixed on the inside of the driver's side windshield. Cash, check, or money order only. No credit or debit cards accepted. Please see the Town of Canton website, Public Works page for complete details for accepted and non-accepted items. And finally, stickers can be purchased actually at two locations. One is the DPW Administration Office on the lower level, and the other location is actually at the facility on Pine Street at the transfer station at 99 Pine Street.
That's it.
End of announcement.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, the Select Board will hold its next meeting on Tuesday, January 9th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the Sala Meeting Room, Memorial Hall, 801 Washington Street.
Okay, next, that's it for the agenda, except for going to the public comment
Next will
section.
be public comment. And hold on for a sec. I gotta See if I
Can
can
I
get-
ask
Let me see
that-
if I can turn this back.
What?
You want to read the announcement?
I don't, do I have a copy of it? Or? No, just like I said, it's gonna be, we're gonna keep it to 3 minutes, 15 minutes, just like, when if you do, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you.
Hold on.
Huh?
I think I got it. What's the worst thing that could happen?
Again, the portion of this meeting will be limited to 15 minutes. We with a total of 3 minutes per speaker. Again, we encourage all those who wish to speak, be mindful of others in the room, and so that we can make the most out of the time allotted. So we'll start with that. If you could just identify yourself with your address.
Sean Colburn, 89 Randolph Terrace. I would like to thank all the 903 citizens of Canton who voted yes on Article 6 of the independent audit of the Police and Select Board. With the recent statements on December 5th by the United States Attorney's Office in Massachusetts that they are in fact investigating the investigation into the John O'Keefe murder case, this investigation, I'm sure, will include the Canton Police Department in its mishandling of this case, the Sandra Birchmore case in February of 2021, the Craig Casey case in December of 2018. An independent audit was not supported by this select board or by the chief of police. Why? This audit will ensure that the taxpayers of Canton are being represented by a capable, transparent group of professionals. This select board sat idle when 4 women who I have become friends with received threatening letters in the mail a few months ago, trying to silence them from speaking out at select board meetings. Not one of you spoke out against this. Your silence basically condoned these letters. Did you not feel that this needed to be addressed? I saw empathy from most of you when you had to reject a resident's request to shut down a street on Halloween. Shame on all of you. Shame on you. My opinion on why the citizens voted yes on this audit, because they don't have faith in the select board or the police chief to be an independent, unbiased, professional group of leaders who will represent the best interest of this community. You have all failed. When you hear news media making statements like a town in turmoil, a small town at war and divided, just know that all of you sitting there were given ample opportunity to stop the disruptive path the town was heading down. You did nothing. We asked for a crisis management team. It fell on idle ears. Just know that the demographic of Canton is changing for the better. Your constituents are changing for the better. The vote on November 20th proved that. And just let you know, we're all here. We're not going away. The people at home are watching. And come this spring, we're hoping to unseat you one by one. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Seeing as this man got up here and decided to blast you all, I just wanted to say that he doesn't speak for the majority of Canton. He speaks for the
Excuse me, sir.
minority.
It's his
of
mic.
Canton.
I'm gonna,
He speaks for the minority, the lunatic fringe.
I'm gonna, again, sir, I'm gonna ask you, it's his turn to speak. Go ahead. He's, okay,
He speaks for the minority. He speaks for the lunatic fringe that wants to divide this town as a smokescreen for Karen Reed and Turtle Boy. I was going to come up here and speak about Rita Lombardi's favorite topic, which is Rita Lombardi, but she's not here anymore. But I just want to say, I support you. I support the police department. The majority of Canton does. The only reason why that amendment passed at the special town meeting is that they organized a good campaign to get their people there. That doesn't speak to the majority of Canton. That speaks to the majority that was in that building that night. This whole degeneration of the select board and the Canton Police Department is ridiculous. It's a smokescreen to try and blow past the Karen Reed trial and the little Turtle Boy trial. And it's just ridiculous, and I've had enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait a sec, I gotta redo this. Go ahead.
That's your key to go.
Trish Boyden, 26 Farm Street. This will be so short because I was going to talk about other cases like Craig Casey and Sandra Birchmore. I don't have anything against the select board. I just want to say I wanted to talk about two issues. One, one of the complaints at that special town meeting was the cost of the independent audit, and an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's $200,000, and we spent far more on the Lo Plato case when we settled. So there's that. And then the other thing was just from a reassurance standpoint. I feel like I said this before, but I don't know. The independent audit will look at how the Canton Police handles cases. Will find nothing, hopefully. It will provide everyone in the town with a peace of mind or not, in which cases improvements will be made. Canton residents fund the police, and we need to be assured that everything's okay or that the needed improvements will be made. That's all. So I don't know why there's I don't know why there's a negative feeling about it. But anyway, it wasn't just about the Karen Reed case, and it's not just about Turtle Boy. That's all I want to say. But thanks so much.
Thank you.
Kathleen Howley, 43 Sherman Avenue. I'm rising to ask our select board to stop the reckless behavior that is exposing the town to lawsuits that will be a heavy burden on the taxpayers. I'm speaking, of course, about the police department's extremist and never before used interpretation of a law, twisting it to say it does something no town and no city in Massachusetts has ever said it does: take away the rights of citizens to peacefully protest their elected officials. As you may know, there was a protest to protect the First Amendment rights held in front of the police station on Sunday that had over 200 people holding signs, peacefully using the rights granted to them by the Constitution. There's probably no building in town that has more witnesses to the case, as it's called, specifically the investigation into the murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. The officers who were first responders all worked there, yet citizens were allowed to protest in front of a station filled with witnesses. What's the difference between the witnesses in the police station and Chris Albert? The police told the organizers of the protest, and I commend them for saying this, that they are not afraid of people who are standing there peacefully holding signs. But Chris Albert, who chose to run for election without telling voters he had over a dozen tax liens, over a dozen lawsuits for not paying his bills, and that he had gone to jail, he didn't tell us any of that. He is afraid of people holding signs. He is so afraid that he summoned the police, who now have charged the peaceful protesters with felony crimes. Mr. Albert oversees the police in his position on the select board. If that's not an abuse of power, I don't know what is. The first of the 10 people went in front of a clerk magistrate yesterday. The magistrate dismissed the charges, for all the charges, finding there was no probable cause. And as you know, probable cause is a very, very low bar, and it didn't even meet that. I hear this phrase from some of our leaders, and you probably have heard it too: let the courts work it out. When you hear that, understand that it means let the taxpayers pay for that. The peaceful citizens who were prevented from protesting have filed a federal lawsuit against the police in the town, a case that is ongoing. The taxpayers who are appalled that for the first time in its history, the Canton police are taking this action, we are the ones.
No, you got time. You got time. I love stop the clock. Keep going.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, it was under 3 minutes. So the taxpayers are appalled that for the first time in history, the Canton police are taking this action. We are the ones who will pay for it. The police officers and you on the select board who oversee the police, that's your job, and the police chief works under your, quote, day-to-day supervision per her contract. The taxpayers will be funding the best legal representation available to defend all of the town workers. We are appalled at your disdain for the Constitution, yet we are getting you lawyers we probably couldn't afford for ourselves, named partners in fancy Boston law firms. The police chief's contract says she works under the day-to-day direct supervision of the select board. It's time for you to start supervising. Do the job we elected you to do. Stop the reckless behavior that will result in more lawsuits, higher legal bills, and even more in payouts for these actions that anyone with a high school education can clearly see are unconstitutional. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Chair, make a motion to adjourn at 8:40.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, before we do, I just want to thank, and just real fast, the Nallies and the Walshes for the cookies, which I'm going to enjoy in about 2 minutes. And happy
Happy holidays,
holidays to everybody.
everybody,
And I hope
Safe and
everybody has a
healthy.
safe and happy new year also.
Thank you.
That's it. So we took the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Meeting adjourned at 8:41.
Moving on to central maintenance, those requests total about $350,000.
I want to thank you all for coming out from all over where you came out. You know, we really appreciate this. The people from Canton that aren't here today do appreciate you guys coming out supporting us. It's really an incredible movement that Aiden has started. And I just want to reiterate, we are peaceful protesters. We have fun when we peaceful protest. We laugh and smile when we peaceful protest. And when people drive by and give us that Albert middle finger salute or shout some obscenities, we just smile and blow them a kiss. But we do not engage in any negative violent behavior or bullying. We just don't do it. So, and anytime somebody honks, just to let you know, we cheer because we love it. And we try to get them to beat the horns as we do it. So anyways, really appreciate you guys being here. And a lot of what I was going to say was already said by the previous guest, which is great, which just leads me down to the meat and potatoes, which is right where we are. And we're here to defend our First Amendment rights, which are under assault by new interpretation of the Mass State Law 268-13A. I just learned this. So in that, okay, that law is under assault with new interpretation because people that we consider not witnesses in that law, we consider them potentially criminal accomplices. So it all depends which word you put in that law, how you read that law and interpret that law. So if you interpret those people as witnesses, you know, it still doesn't apply. But in any event, our rights under the First Amendment are under assault. And people have been trying to silence us since Aiden got this momentum going in April. And he has grown tremendous momentum with this story, not by telling things that are unsubstantiated. Aiden, unlike other people, see that? Look at that love. We love it. Aiden has been reading the court filings. The court filings, those are factual documents, or they're supposed to be factual documents. He has read the court filings to his audience viewers. He has reenacted some of the scenarios that were put forth. They just don't make sense. And everything he has put forward is fact. And people are trying to discredit him and discredit this movement. And we just want justice. We just want justice, using our voices to get justice. And there have been so many ways leading up to today that people have tried to silence the people of this movement. And just to read a few of them, you know, I just want to get here because I had a whole long list here, but just because there have been a lot of ways to try to silence us. So in the spring, we had a lead detective, his wife began calling people's places of business, trying to get them terminated for simply voicing their First Amendment right of free speech. And I've never heard of that before, where a detective's wife does that. But in this case, we did have one. That didn't work. Some people may have had some issues with their calling, but that didn't work. Sean McCabe sends a message to Turtle Boy and tells him that he's going to be buried under Auntie Bev's cottage. But that is apparently not a threat, but it's a threat to the normal person. The 722 rally, which was peaceful. Not only was it peaceful, it was fun. If you look at the videotape, Aiden took all the people through the town of Canton in a very peaceful and productive way to protest against the injustice that was happening against Karen Reed. That was peaceful. But later we find out that it was intimidating to one of the witnesses who
wasn't really in her house because she was in Maine the day before because people had pictures of her. So that was supposedly an intimidating thing, and it wasn't. And there wasn't a police officer in sight. So if there was anything wrong with that rally, believe me, they would have been there to address it. Then we have the Board of Select meetings because we have Chris Albert, who's also somebody that was at the home the night that John was murdered, decided in January 2023, after years of not paying taxes and minimal voting or whatever, he decided it was good to run for the Select Board. So he's on the Select Board, and citizens are going to the Select Board looking for answers for questions that they had and police protocols to help understand what happened in this murder investigation. And the chief was there and called out 3 people who were other board members who were were speaking out and said that they were potentially criminals. And that's not true. And that's another method to try to silence people. Michael Morrissey's account on 8/25, he gave the speech. And beyond me, I don't know how he could have given a speech that completely contradicted the court filings in what he said. And then we have fake media accounts by some of the wives and whoever involved in this, attacking good citizens. We had the Select Board stop hearing public comments to quiet us, to silence us. We said no. What did we do? We used our voices. We went to the town hall. We took out a petition for a special town meeting, and we had audience with them. They refused audience with us. All we wanted was to meet. They refused, so we got a special town meeting. But when we got the special town meeting, that wasn't good enough. They had to look at the petition and tell us that a signature or 2 was forged. But there's no evidence of that. We believe it's probably somebody in the family who signed for their other family members. But made a big deal about that. One thing I forgot to mention is the 4 threatening letters that 4 women got, myself included. I now have a security system on my house. And that was sent to us to silence us. All these things are sent to silence us. Why do we have to be silenced if the truth says that Karen Reed did this? Because the truth is Karen Reed did not do this. And so when all of that stuff failed, the next resort was to charge Turtle Boy on October 11th, Aiden, on felony charges for simply trying to interview witnesses. You want to call them witnesses? They can call them witnesses. We think that based on the facts that we know, that they are criminal conspirators. But, you know, if they want to call them witnesses, go ahead. But that's not a reason to charge Aiden. And they also took his words out of context. Who should be arrested for fragments of sentences that they said? Everything was taken out of context to silence him. And I even heard there was a party with about 40 people when they thought they silenced him. They did not silence him. We get stronger. When they try to silence us, we grow. We just grow. Okay? And when that was in effect, we won't quit. And then, right after the special town meeting, and people were intimidated to go to the special town meeting. And right after the special town meeting, people who protested, 9 people protesting outside D&E Pizza right down the street, just holding signs, just like you and I right now, have been summoned to court for felony charges for protesting for a new interpretation of Massachusetts law. So we cannot allow this new interpretation of Massachusetts law to stand. It jeopardizes our freedom of speech. When you have witnesses that are really potentially not witnesses, they're more than witnesses, then you cannot bend that interpretation to fit the scenario you're looking for. You just can't do it. So that's what I have to say right now. And so what I'm hoping we all do is we line the streets, we show our signs, and we get loud. All right, Tracy. And do not fight back. Kill them with kindness. Kill them with kindness. Okay? Kill them with kindness. We are peaceful. Every single one of us. And we remain peaceful. We're better than them. Okay. And Tracy. Anyways, thank you all. And listen, I just want to applaud the parents who brought their younger children. This this is for you guys. We are doing this for the next generation. We want you to live in a free country. We want you to be able to use your voices. And this is an awesome lesson for all of you. So thank you all for coming. Rita, 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 Rita.
We got a big line over there for the ornaments. Thank you so much, you guys. Let's see, Mike. What do you think, Mike Crawford, the Young
All right,
Jocks?
Mike. Let's go, kids.
Where's guy? Take it away, Mike.
Wow, thank you. I don't have too much words, but the support is what matters here. I've been involved in a lot of campaigns over the years, whether they be politics or for cannabis or other issues. I've never seen anything like this in 25 years. You guys is what the difference is. Turtle Boy and you guys. So I just want to hear for you, all of you. Well, let's hear it for the Canton residents first, who bravely stood up. Yeah. Let's hear it for Turtle Boy. Where is he? Yeah. There he is. And let's hear it for the Canton 9 especially. Yeah. And Karen Reed too. She did take the crap. And most of all, like there's a lot of us like me from out of town. They say, well, our voices don't matter because we're from out of town. This affects everybody in Massachusetts. If you live in a city or town in Massachusetts, if you are on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, if you run a Facebook group, if you run a live streaming podcast like I do, this affects you. I have a say. I matter. All of our voices matter. So let's hear it for everybody who has been stepping up on this. Yeah, our voices do matter. Our voices matter. And I also want to point out, like, so many people have been stepping up with the fundraising. Like Nick Rocco, Jenna Rocco. I could go on and on and on. Meredith. I mean, I'm going to miss people. That's why I don't want to say a lot of names today. But there's so many of you who stepped up. People in Canton, again, I got to mention, like, the O'Donnells, the two O'Donnell women's. Yeah. And Rita. Let's hear it for Rita. And all the Canton residents who have stood up and spoke at these select board meetings. Showing up. Yeah, Angela. You know what we're talking about. Jennifer. The two Jennifers. So many of them. So that's all I want to leave it on. Yeah, let Tom. The different shows. I see Dubs here. There's all kinds of shows here, too. Kathleen. The Galera. Who else? Kathleen Howley.
LTL.
I could keep going. LTL, yes. There's so many people who are stepping up. So that's all I want to leave it on. Let's just do three things. Continue to get the word out. Bring more people next time. And make sure we continue to fundraise. Free Turtle Boy, free the Canton 9, and free Karen Reed. Keep funding those defense funds. That makes a difference too. That's the biggest thing you can do. All we can do, we're not trying to solve something. It's already been solved. This guy over here solved it. We're trying to support it. Just keep supporting. Support, support, support. Let's hear it for all the support. Thank you.